Well, hello, friends and family from around the world. This is Mike with Morning Dew Daily Events Worldwide, and we're on April 29th, 2020. Welcome to another surviving day on this planet. Thank you for joining us. I don't know if anybody was able to see the glimpse of Atlas, the comet Atlas going by Earth, but it came at its closest last night, and apparently 2 million miles closer than it was supposed to. Welcome to the Daily Dew Worldwide. Looking at daily events, starting out here at our sun, having a quick look, 304 angstroms, 2 sunspots still Earth-facing and active. Observing again that plasma filament that ripped away from the northern region. And after the full clip now, you can see that it had lifted straight up northward. You can see that go straight up. Looking here at another light, see any coronal hole activity, and there is absolutely none. The creating sunspot ahead of that larger one diminished the coronal hole. But you can see here in the last few images on this particular light, pretty active sunspots. The smaller one there, a little explosion, poof. Luckily that was not Earth facing. I mean, it's in an Earth-facing position, but will not be heading our way. Looking here at our real-time solar wind, this is the last 7 days, and here's the last 3 days for activity. We're going to quickly move it here to 1 day. You can see it diminishing down to 359 kilometers per second. So not much for space weather. Alert is relatively low still. Looking here, LASCO 2 image. Missing a bunch of images as well in that last one. You can see the sunspot ejection. But yeah, looking here, you can see that we are missing some timestamps. Let's get to earthquakes here, brought to you by Earthquake 3D. This is an app that you can all download. Looking here, most recent earthquake, not to Puerto Rico. That's right, here we go, 4.8 in July, Argentina. As well, looking at a 5.4 in Argentina. 4.4 here in Ecuador. Seismicity increasing across Dominican Republic, Caribbean plate, 4.5 there. As well, 2.5 recorded in Tennessee, shallow quake, but increased activity across western North American plate. Ceres Valley still going off, and as well the Idaho earthquakes, Cascade, Idaho. Things have quieted down across the North Pacific plate, but today, pretty deep earthquakes. In Nidoya Island, Fiji, 4.3, 570 kilometer depth. Moving westward here, Papua New Guinea with a 5.1. 4.6 here in the Philippines, 10 kilometer depth. 4.8 in Bangalore, Indonesia, right beside Krakatoa. As well, looking at a 4.9 here at the Mid-Indian Ridge. So watch for volcanic activity, possible eruption. Krakatoa, we're going to be keeping an eye on that. The only earthquake to report across Eurasia, 4.2. So very quiet across African plate, Eurasia plate. Let's have a look at the last 7 days, as we're still looking at a deep earthquake event happening now across Fiji, Tonga, and as well South America. Deep, and the earthquakes that are spreading across the Caribbean plate right now is kind of interesting. Stay aware, prepared Mexico. Deeper earthquakes across North Pacific plate and into the Eurasian plate. Quiet across Eurasia. So stay aware, prepared. Got to watch these quiet regions. When you see all these deep earthquakes everywhere else, watch for a larger, shallower earthquake in these warned regions. Let's have a look at the Pacific Disaster Alert Center. This is an app you can download as well. observing the most recent volcanic updates here. Suisunajima in Japan, Sabancaya in Peru, as well Popo in Mexico, Sangay in Ecuador, Asosan in Japan, Dakono in Indonesia, as well Kushinaribajima in Japan, and Kluchevskoye. So about 8 volcanoes being updated today for volcanic eruptions and ash activity. Many flood alerts across this map right now, especially across the United States. Straight up the Mississippi, central and southern, as those very vigorous and violent systems have been trying to bring spring across North America, but it's just not happening. Looking at flood alerts straight up from Missouri and down to Texas. So stay aware and prepared, everybody living along the Mississippi. We haven't even seen our spring rains yet. It's a-coming. As well, looking at some pretty extreme weather that would have went across here and through Paraguay and Uruguay. Definitely going to be looking for some news coming out of there. Hail event, strong winds. And across the northern hemisphere, as I'm talking about, it's very strange. The intertropical convergence that's happening right now, our jet stream is really wonky. And all of the low pressure systems across the northern hemisphere have now split up, as the 3 pressure systems are affecting the United States right now. But when you look at this jet stream, it's very erratic. And we've got equatorial moisture heading straight north, and vice versa. So watch for these extreme weather events to continue. We still have a very large low pressure system off the Pacific here. 5-day forecast brought to you by Meteor-Earth, Meteor Mike. Huge. And then it splits up and forms again. So watch for warm air to move in straight across Alberta. Cool nights, but very warm air and a lot of moisture towards the BC coastline moving northward. Very vigorous low pressure system will be affecting southeastern United States and ripping straight up the eastern seaboard into the Atlantic provinces throughout the week. Watch for a lot of rain and thunderstorms accompanied by this. But it looks like spring is on its way, but it's having a tough time. So watch through Ontario and as well straight across southeastern, northeastern United States for a lot of rain and potentially extreme weather. Across Europe, large low pressure system moving here southward into the Mediterranean as low pressure system affects the United Kingdom and most of Central Europe, moving eastward. That's a lot of Atlantic moisture heading your way. You've got 2 low pressure systems in just the 5-day forecast. Things warming up across Russia and as well across southeastern Asia. Not much rain to talk about, but with all this heat and ahead of the monsoon rains, we're definitely going to see an uptick in typhoons and cyclones. And already we have, in the 5-day forecast, we have a cyclone that is forming right here. So watch for a cyclone affecting India, most likely, or Myanmar. As well, we have another typhoon forming here, moving westward towards the Philippines in the 5-day forecast. So things are really starting to ramp up on the equator. Friends and family, stay aware and prepared. Much love to you all, and thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to smash that like button. Help support the channel and support the suggested analytics. Looking here over Australia, a lot of rain, moisture, cold, affecting the southeastern and moving northward into Sydney. Large low pressure system here affecting Argentina and southern Chile. 5-day forecast later in the week. As well, heavy amounts of daily evaporation rain moving into Venezuela, northeastern Brazil, and throughout Bogota, Colombia. Heavy rains there as well. Coastal regions, Panama still. Overlooking Africa, daily evaporation rains. Heavier amounts, east coast, moving into Lake Victoria and moving northward into Somalia. And that's it for weather from around the world. Thank you for tuning in today. Going to leave you here looking at the northern hemisphere versus the southern hemisphere. And last week we had about 4 or 5 large low pressure systems across the northern. Now they've split up. Things are ramping up. Spring is supposed to be here. Stay aware and prepared. Stay young and have fun. Get your morning dew. Bye-bye.